What's good? Welcome back to the jungle. We got all the cast members here. We got AG on my left. We got Natural on my right. This is Doc Strange. We want to get into your weekly sports show. Alright? So the first topic we want to slide into, obviously something's brewing over in Detroit. Blake Griffin might be on the move. Natural, what do you think about that?
So the report is there's 3 teams right now that's trying to get him. The 3 teams aren't exactly known. A team just off top that even I like may not be popular, may not. I'm high on Sacramento anyway. For them to try maybe throwing picks, you could give a Godfather offer. Everybody doing these Godfather offers with like 1,000 picks. Doing something like that, you could set something up where sliding him into their set of bigs already. I think it'd be like tremendous. I think they got a great core already. They got Fox there, they got Hill there. Who's your boy from Duke tearing it up?
Bagley Jr. Bagley the third.
Bagley.
But what would you trade though?
Exactly. I'm saying just do the picks. They just re-signed my man Barnes, right? So then you got your core already set. To put Blake Griffin as another big within that mix, another offensive threat. You still got defense on the perimeter. You still got somebody inside with Bagley that could protect the rim. I think just that elevates them to that next level. Teams like the Lakers, Clippers, their rosters are kind of set right now.
Right.
A lot of teams don't have assets to even do that. To me, it wouldn't make sense for a non-contending team to do that like that. I like a team like Sacramento doing something like that.
What do you think? Who do you think would be good for Blake Griffin?
So if we're talking about not just a playoff contending team, obviously it has to be. Okay, so it has to be a contender. We're not gonna, get into the specifics of money, but like fit.
Let's just talk about fit all the time. Yeah.
Me personally, where I would like to see him is on that team that is maybe real close, and at that same needs that punch like Blake, that maybe they can sit there and say, no, we can go toe to toe with teams.
Yeah.
So the team that points out to me what that is the Portland Trailblazers. If Blake Griffin got on the Portland Trailblazers where he can be that guy in the front court, like, nobody's taking touches away from him in that front court, and he's gonna have room to work because McCollum and Lillard are just so backcourt dominant.
Yeah.
They actually would be able to play off each other where you have a rebounding, that third punch, scoring, and he's essentially the number 1 now, so sliding him to the second or third option is great on offensive level.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he brings rebounding, and then when Nurkic will come back, like, he can do the dirty work down low. And they got Whiteside. So, the thing is, money-wise, I know that they're strapped, so they would have to send off a lot of money. Right. Again, would they probably have to give a Godfather Hall of Picks?
Yeah.
Would they have to attach maybe some little pieces in there that they like? Yeah, but that would be a team, I think, that would be a good fit that might even put them into, like, wow, maybe they can go, a 7-game series with somebody.
I think that would be a pretty decent fit, but I think that the best fit for Blake Griffin would be the Boston Celtics. They got all the picks that they have circulating. They got a couple of young pieces that they can actually trade. So I think the Boston Celtics would be in the mix for our Blake Griffin. And I think that if you put Blake Griffin with Kemba Walker and Tatum, you might have a championship team right there. So
they're a championship?
I think so. You might, because with their depth, and if Tatum takes that next step with Kemba Walker and Blake Griffin, they're gonna have the assets to actually make that trade. Realistically,
they have a realistic
I will
shot.
agree with you there. Assets wise, Boston has the probably even close to the most to offer because they didn't make a move. So I agree with you on that aspect. I just think that to offset that, because you have those assets, you also means that you have to give them up. Meaning that depth that you kind of would talk about would take a little bit of a hit, just essentially off of who they're gonna have to ship out. Maybe a Jaylen Brown or a player of that caliber.
You might not have to if you do you do the Godfather offer, because he still has a couple picks left that are valuable.
But they took hits because they've gotten better. Those teams.
Yeah, he still has that Memphis pick. I think it's unprotected,
and he has
for next year.
He has a Clippers and a Kings pick, I think. Right.
So he still got a couple things he could make that offer. I think they don't have a basket protector. They don't have a rim protector. Somebody like on defense. Especially
remember they have
don't say the Cantor.
They have this is my point. They have Hayward, they have Jaylen Brown, and they have Tatum essentially all playing the same position. So if you say, okay, I'm going to package Hayward and maybe Brown and somebody else, or maybe Brown and somebody.
Oh yeah, they would take that. And a couple picks.
Yes. And so my thing is
Hayward to make it work in the picks.
The most sense to me would be the Boston Celtics, and I think that would make them an instant contender in the East. Okay, moving on to the next topic, we want to discuss what's actually going on with a couple low-key signings in free agency. We have Avery Bradley to the Lakers, and then we have Kyle Korver to who? The Milwaukee Bucks. How do you think that this will help shape these teams? Because obviously both of them have championship aspirations.
I like both moves. LA definitely needed somebody else defensively on the perimeter that can get it done, who's been known to get it done, right? Has a reputation. I think the even bigger move is getting Kyle Korver for the Bucks. The Bucks lost Malcolm Brogdon, right? They lost somebody who was a 40% three-point shooter, right? Handled the ball a little bit. Korver doesn't handle the ball, obviously, just like Brogdon, but he fills that role of somebody who could come in there, space the floor, give them offense when they need it to help Giannis. You kind of doing your brow a little bit, but they came to me, they filled depth. They got my man from Dallas, I forget the names, Wesley Matthews. I like Wesley. I like that pickup. Also, somebody who's strong on D. Somebody who also has a good reputation, strong on D. Come hit that three-pointer when you need it. He can take big shots. Made big shots. So to me, I like that to fill that Brogdon role. So to me, they kind of didn't lose anything. LA, I like that move. To me, you still need a couple more pieces. Forwards, bigs. You kind of in that kind of range. You have little guards. You have people that can guard guards. Your lineup fit. I don't know. I think you may need another shooting.
Personally, again, I'm a fan of both moves. I think that system-wise, I guess you can say, because I understand what the Bucks are trying to do with Giannis. Like they're trying to get him shooters, right? Like Giannis is almost taking on that, and I don't want to say, because I'm not trying to compare them, but LeBronish role where LeBron was that freak and where he could just drive to the lane and nobody could take him. But then he had to eventually develop that shot, to be respectful. I think Giannis is in that same point where they're like, okay, well, we're going to surround him with shooters until he can shoot himself. And so I like the fit with Korver there. I think Korver honestly signed there because of the minutes even too. I think he's going to get a little bit more time, which I'm a fan of. So system-wise, I like that move more. Avery Bradley is that guy who, if he's healthy, Kyrie Irving said for a reason that Avery Bradley is the person who he feels is the best person who defends him. Kyrie Irving to me is an unguardable one-on-one, problem. Avery Bradley is a ferocious defender and has improved from three. If he can stay healthy and get on that floor, I think that by far, and this is not even being a bias, my favorite roster right now is the Lakers. Now, if Frank Vogel's going to stay or go, is going to be based off of how he puts all those lineups together. And so on my end of that, the reason why I like the Korver move is because I know how they're going to use him. With the Avery Bradley, I love the player move, but I want to see how they're going to use him.
All right. For just a real quick to dissect both of them, the Kyle Korver move I do not like because he doesn't play any defense. All right, and when you're in the East, you're going to have to play defense, and I don't see that happening. And in certain instances in the come playoff time, I can see that coming back to bite them. And for the Avery Bradley move, I play fantasy, so I've seen what he's actually been doing, and he hasn't been doing much. So I mean, yes,
not the points. Yeah. You don't get points for the defense, bro.
I understand that he hasn't been doing much either way. So I mean, hopefully he's gonna be healthy, and Frank Vogel's gonna have to figure it out. Both moves I do not like, but hey, that's for y'all to decide. Obviously, get in the comments. It's the jungle. Okay, welcome back to the jungle. We're gonna get into this boxing going on. We got Thurman versus Pacquiao. And what do you think's gonna happen?
Look, I'd rather die with my boy Manny Pacquiao.
Oh.
And you should have started off that fight by saying it's Pacquiao versus Thurman. But I'll let that go. All right. But my thing is here it is. Again, like I've told people, I'm fans, but I'm realist. Okay. Here's my thing. This fight is gonna worry me. Thurman's a big time puncher. He has talent. And I just think that Pacquiao is now getting into these fights where he's going up against the more talented younger guys now. Like where he'd fight the younger guys who maybe got a couple wins under their belt, but now these guys are like legit. Like these are the guys fighting contenders for the belts. These are like, the contenders for pound in any weight class.
Yeah.
And now he's entering that at 40, where I think Thurman just, might have turned 30. Like, and that's essentially a boxer's prime, is around that age. So my thing is that I think Pacquiao's a legend. I think he's an all-world talent, and I think that Pacquiao, essentially, because I think my fandom's pushing into it, I think he's gonna find a way tonight, because I still think that he has a steel jaw. I know what happened in the fight, that he got knocked out, but if you look over in his entire career after that, the guy doesn't really go down. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, I still think that he has that, jaw to him. I still think that he's more talented than Thurman, and it can find a way to maybe, if he has something behind his punches, to stop him and win the rounds, even by a punching thing. But at the same point in time, I do think he needs to watch out for Thurman's power, because I think that could essentially wear him down.
Listen, if Manny Pacquiao survives this fight, I'll be surprised. All right, if he doesn't get killed. All right, this is a bad fight, and his promoter, whoever he's working with, should not have put him in the ring. You don't see Mayweather out there still trying to get it in with them young cats. He know better. He like, yo, I beat everybody in my generation. I ain't got nothing else to prove. I don't know. Maybe Manny Pacquiao needs some money. He got to get a re-up, get a bag or something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's surely trying to get himself killed. Stepping in the ring with Thurman, I don't see it.
Remember we said this, Pacquiao Nation.
Listen, I don't know. He better be on them roids or something. He better do something to help himself, because at the end of the day, even if he wins, he still wouldn't win, because at the end of the day, his body's going to get so beat up from the beating he's about to take. I don't know why he's stepping in the ring, all right?
You better hope that Thurman's not sleeping on the canvas tonight.
Listen.
You better hope Thurman's not sleeping on the canvas. I'm going to call you at any hour.
Listen. If you want to call me, call me. You know what? Manny Pacquiao, you win this fight, you TKO, you KO him, I give you all the credit in the world. Because, my man, if you make it through this fight, I'll be like, man, that's unbelievable. He's about to get killed.
I think they kind of the same thing. Thurman just hits with power. I think even to the point where he's even reckless with it sometimes, right? He'll take one to give you one, right? So Manny is known for his power, right? So, but that's old Manny. That's not. I mean, that's the old Manny, not old ass Manny that he is right now. So this Manny, I don't know if he has that in him to even catch him like that before. So I think Thurman will put him to sleep tonight. I think Manny's gonna have that heart to try to get it in. I think to hear that crowd and everybody's gonna be like, yeah, and he's gonna be all suit to get dropped right on the floor. So I think,
listen, I don't care if Manny Pacquiao does win. If he wins, you still taking a loss, because you're gonna get so beat up during the fight, right? He's not worth it. Your promoter, whoever told you to step in the ring, they're not doing you no favors.
Think about the CTE, bro. You got a political career. You don't need.
Manny, prove the doubters wrong.
You didn't need to be. You don't need to be doing this, right?
This is shameful. This guy stop. All right, the jungle. All right. And we're back, the jungle. On to our favorite topic of the day, loser of the week. What's the criteria?
Gotta get that ass beat.
He don't lose it. Losers of the week. AG, what is your loser of the week?
All right. So this one happened recently. It's more of a fall for grace, but you know he deserves a loser of the week for sure. So my loser of the week is Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey was the ace of the New York Mets. Looked at earlier in his career, about 23, 24, 25 years old, that he was, you know, dubbed the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah.
And
he was the reason why you watched the Mets game.
Right.
He was the reason why I watched.
He started
Mets
the
game.
2013 All-Star game.
Yeah.
I mean, his trajectory, to say the least, was up. I mean, people probably thought at that point in time this guy's going to be worth $200 million. This contract, okay,
Easy.
plus
Easy.
Last week, I mean, not even last week, but just a couple days ago, the LA Angels designated him for assignment, which is a nice word for we're releasing you. Okay, after 12 starts and a 7 ERA. Okay.
Say that again.
12 starts and a 7 ERA, meaning that for any of our fans who don't understand what an ERA is, it's an earned run average. It means that every game that he pitches per 9 innings, he lets up an average of 7 runs. Okay, that's hard to win for anyone.
It's a little bit hard to win.
Yeah. So for my loser of the week, it's Matt Harvey. What a fall from grace. I mean, people were really upset when the Mets let go of him. They were, you know, surprised when the Angels gave him $11 million this year. And now through 12 starts.
$11 million?
And so for that, exactly.
Start pitching.
For those reactions and for, you know, so far how your career is kind of trending, this week, Matt Harvey, you're my loser of the week.
That's right.
Let's kind of continue the theme of loser of the week extending to the Mets. The Mets fans are this week's loser of the week. Mets fans, I'm sure you know, you've already seen the clip. The Mets right now, since the All-Star break have been hot, the Giants have been also as equally hot, right? Trying to get that second wild card spot. Not much to play for, but whatever. It's the second wild card spot. Let's try to get that. But then when you lose games, when somebody drops a pop fly, like Dominic Smith did the other night, this is the kind of that Mets fans are used to seeing, like losing in these terrible ways. At the beginning of the season, what do we say? The Mets are flying high, and what did I say? I was like, you know what? This is what happens. We always start hot. You already said this.
You guys are the April champs.
And we were this year, and we find ways to blow games like we did last night. But Mets fans, to take disheartening losses like that last night, we are losers of this week.
And just to say real quick, there was a report that your general manager and your manager were arguing to the point where your general manager told your manager, go do your effing interview. All right?
Yeah, and through a chair. But the report was he came out there all smiles. Nobody even really knew what was going on. So this guy's a professional. This guy's a professional. He's getting fired after this year.
Very interesting. I'm going to take a different approach for this. I want a little understanding behind this. So I'm going to give my loser of the week to Roger Federer. Though you're an all-time legend, one of the greatest, maybe the greatest of all time. The reason why I give you loser of the week, even though you were just in the Grand Slam finals, is because you had such a lead. You eclipsed Pete Sampras, right? You took his record. You had 14 majors. You were that guy. You had such a lead on everybody else. It was incomparable that anybody could even catch you. But yet, what do I see? Nadal and Jokic. What did they do? They went through how many tournaments after you'd already had that much of a lead? And now Nadal has 18 championships and Jokic has 16. So let me get this straight. Before you came, right, Pete Sampras had the record, 14. You came and eclipsed him, and you had years of span between you and Nadal and you and Jokic. And you have 20, which is the all-time record. So we got to give you your props for that. But you let them win 34 majors in between that time, between the both of them. Which means that I believe that since you had such a lead head start, you should have spanned it to the point where they shouldn't even have caught up to you. Now Nadal is 2 away from your record, and Jokic looks like he's going to eclipse your record. And they're going to have the all-time record, which means you're going to be third when everything's all said and done. Even though nobody else in tennis history even has come close to what you did. I give you loser of the week. You should have spread this out way beyond. It shouldn't even be close. How could you let somebody win that many Grand Slams in your era? 18, Nadal has 18, and Jokic now has 16. This is insane.
I will say this, yo. When you said let him win, you know what I was thinking of? I was just watching a clip where Patrick Beverley, he was answering questions, right? And they were like, why did you let Kevin Durant do that, right? He's like, what? Why did I let him? And then Lou Williams is like, I promise you we tried. Like, son, that game even Sunday, yo, he tried. Game, both of them, I said, gave their all. That's one, like, he put his all in. I promise you he tried. I promise you he tried.
Listen, this is my point. Between Nadal and Jokic, right? Nadal, sometimes he beats Nadal. Every now and then he beats Jokic, and once in a blue moon, and then the other beats him. My point is when the competition came, because at the Pete Sampras, then the competition came and everything stopped for him. It went to a slow crawl, and they caught up to him. It's impossible. They have 18. One has 18 and one has 16.
He's still, I think, the highest earner on the tennis tour every year. So.
Listen,
even with
if you got like 15 championships,
like you should,
somebody catches up to you in the span that fast, there's something going on. All right? It's a harsh, cruel loser of the week.
It is,
but I give it to you. Right? Next time, stop letting them get to you. But your time is up. All right. That's it. The Jungle.
The Jungle. Also, get in the comments, guys. Let us know your thoughts on everything. Loser of the week. What you guys want to see. All right, Jungle.